And what I thought I'd do is in maybe 15 or 20 minutes, just run through some of the highlights and what happened during the quarter, and then we can take whatever question you may want to ask. On the growth front, we continue to see strong growth. So if you look at the first 6 months of the financial year, our individual loan disbursements, even on this very large base that we carry, grew by as much as 20%. In the quarter, we sold loans. As you know, we do housing loans, but we don't retain all the loans we originate. We also sell down loans. So in this quarter, between July and September, we sold loans in all aggregating to 1,939 crores. If we take the last 12 months, which is from October last year till September this year, we have sold loans aggregating to 13,086 crores. On 30th of September, we had a total of 35,858 crores of loans which have been sold by us, but on which we continue to get a weighted average return of 1.22% a year. So we earn income not just on loans which are appearing in the balance sheet, we also earn income on loans which have been sold by us, where we get a residual spread which comes through the life of the loan. And we do not, unlike what people do under US GAAP or IFRS, we do not book that income upfront. That income comes over the life of the loan. On 30th of September, our total loan book, and this is on an AUM basis, which means it includes the 35,858 crores of loans sold. The outstanding loans stood at 3,11,264 crores of rupees, which represents an increase of 17% over the previous year. So 17% growth in the total loan book. And if we were to look at the split between individuals and non-individuals, the individual loan book increased by 18%, the non-individual loan book increased by 13%. So we saw some traction even in the non-individual category. So if you see the last 4 quarters, for example, the growth used to be 9, 10 and 11%, and last quarter was 12%. This year for 6 months, the growth has been 13%. If we had not sold the loans of this 13,086 crores in the last 12 months, then our total loan book growth after adding back those loans would have been as much as 21%. And the individual loan book would have increased by as much as 25%. If we look at the split of growth in the loan book between individuals and non-individuals, in the 6-month period, the split would have been 87% of the loans were individuals and 13% of the loans were non-individuals. But if we were to look only at the second quarter, then the split would have been 85% individuals and 15% non-individuals, which means that the non-individual component would have increased compared to what it would have been in the previous year. And this is increased as a component of the total loan growth. Coming to interest income, our net interest income stood at 2,495 crores for the quarter, which compares to 2,181 crores in the previous year's second quarter, giving a growth of 14%. So this is net interest income without taking into account the commission payment made to agents for sourcing business for us. So actual interest income would have grown by 14%. If we were to look at the 6-month period, then in the 6-month period, our net interest income numbers stood at 4,915 crores, which compares to 4,395 crores in the previous year 6 months, giving a growth of 12%. So in the quarter, net interest income went up by 14%. In the 6-month period, net interest income went up by 12%. Net interest margin stood at 3.85% in September, which compares to 3.78% in June. So we saw a 7 basis points rise in the net interest margin. Spread, which is just a difference between lending rate and borrowing rate and does not take into account the quantum of debt equity ratio, does not take into account deployment of capital and so on and so forth. Spread for the 6-month period stood at 2.28%, but spread only for the second quarter stood at 2.31%.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.